All right, y'all. What's up? It's Boxingwave. Look, we are just getting news every single day, and a lot of this hasn't been completely confirmed. I mean, even the fighters are being vocal about it, but we want to see these fights get inked down. But it's starting to look like Ryan Garcia is going to be fighting Pitbull, Cruz, and Devin Haney is going to be fighting Jose Ramirez on the same card. All right, we've been hearing rumors and rumblings about this. It's been reported every day. I know since the Ring Magazine Awards, a lot of these fighters were present for that, and a lot of these fighters have done interviews stating that they're going to fight other fighters. Like Ryan Garcia saying he's going to fight Teofimo Lopez next, and then fighting Devin Haney. Yo, first of all, I mean, as good as that news would be, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big Ryan fan outside of the fight. Not a big fan at all. But those are some good fights. Like the fight Teofimo Lopez and then go straight into Devin Haney. That was just too good to be true, in my opinion, because the Devin Haney fight is a big fight. And I'm not saying take an easy touch, but Teofimo Lopez is not an easy touch. I mean, that could be just as dangerous or even more dangerous than fighting Devin Haney. So I didn't really believe that, and I was kind of waiting to see how this was going to all unfold. But right now, it's not looking like Ryan Garcia is going to fight Teofimo Lopez. It looks like it's going to be Pitbull, and Haney's going to fight Ramirez. All right. What do I think about it? Well, I love it because this is going to be setting up for their big fight, their big rematch, and then we're talking about Haney and Ryan Garcia. All right, their big fight. But these are not easy fights, and I'm gonna explain Ryan Garcia. Year later, it's been a year. He beat Devin. Well, officially he didn't beat Devin Haney, but the night of the fight he beat Devin Haney, and then he got suspended, right, for all of this stuff. We're not gonna get into all that, but he was suspended and he hasn't fought all year. And Cruz, coming off of the loss to Ryan Valenzuela, I believe that was like a split decision when it was a close competitive fight, but he lost the fight. But it's not like he got knocked out. Pitbull is a tough fighter for anybody, regardless of what people say. When you're a guy, yes, very short, even shorter than Tank, coming up under guys with throwing these big punches, looping punches for all these weird angles, tough fight. All right, tough fight, very dangerous fight, and Ryan can't sleep on it. That's a very difficult fight. But if this fight goes down, and they're saying that this is supposed to be in Times Square, which is crazy. Like, if this fight or this card is in Times Square, I'm definitely going to that fight. All right, but this is supposed to be in May. Don't know the exact card, but this is a phenomenal card if it does go down, to have these guys on the same card. Not sure it's going to be on the undercard of Canelo. Don't really know. But these two fights, if they are official, these are tough fights to have before the fight, And same with Devin Haney, I know Jose Ramirez has recently lost. He's not in his prime. He's a former unified champion. I get it. But Devin Haney is coming off that tough fight with Ryan Garcia where he was knocked down like 4 times. He took a beating in that fight, regardless of the PEDs and the weight and all of that. I'm just talking about the actual fight right now. Devin Haney took punishment in that fight. And this is like a tune-up to fight a former unified champion who lost recently, but it's not like he got knocked out. He lost to Arnold Barboza. And to go back in there in his first fight back against Jose Ramirez is not a bad fight. Both of these fights are not bad, especially gearing up to fight each other. All right. This is great news. I can't wait. It's starting to look like a tournament at 140 a little bit. It seems like everybody's on the same page. No more nonsense. I just recorded a video with Turkey Al-Sheikh talking about all of this. These guys are getting the proper money, and these guys are taking risks continuously, and even if they have an easier touch, it's still a good fight. especially because most of these fights, all these guys that's getting scheduled for fights, if it is an easier touch, it's because there's a bigger challenge right after. You know, no more 5-year buildups, none of that. So I'm very happy with the news. Hopefully it's true. Hopefully it all goes down. Still a little concerned because these guys from 135 and 140, these four kings, and I'm talking about Tank, I'm talking about Teofimo, I'm talking about Ryan, and I'm talking about Devin. And I'm not putting who to blame, you know what I mean? I'm not blaming anyone. But there's a lot of fights that have not gone down with these so-called four kings, you know? Again, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not saying who's at fault for each fight not happening. But if the way it's looking right now, if these two guys win the fights, they'll be taking another challenge right after. And even whoever wins that fight is going to be another challenge right after. Because they're already talking about Turkey Al-Sheikh wants Teofimo to get the mix, right? With possibly fighting a Richardson Hitchens, which is another tough fight, right? Which would be a unification at 140 to go and fight Boots next. And maybe the winner of that fight each other of the winner of Devin Haney, Ryan, wherever we're at that point. I'm not even going that far yet. But it looks like these guys will probably not be sticking around at 140 for too long, you know, and there'll probably be some catch weights here, you know, especially with Ryan and Pitbull. Ryan hasn't officially made 140, I don't believe, since he's gone up from after losing the Tank. I don't think he's, or even before that, when he moved up from 135, or when he returned to boxing after beating Luke Campbell at 135, I don't think he's actually had a fight where he made the weight limit at 140. So most likely, I don't think he's going to make again here because there's no title on the line between him and Pitbull. So there's no reason for him to make a weight. But maybe they'll agree to a catch weight because Pitbull is definitely not a big guy at 140. You know, he wasn't even a big guy at 135. You know, and, you know, Haney's already talking about moving up to 147. He said if he goes to 147, he's not coming back down. You know, these guys have been all very vocal about what they want to do. And even though it's changing every single day, this seems like a very realistic card. A very realistic card. You know, they're not easy fights, but they're realistic fights that can lead to the bigger fight, which is Ryan against Devin Haney again. And I want to make one thing clear about that fight. It's a lot of pressure on them both, you know, because even if they win these fights and they go to fighting each other in a rematch, there's a lot of pressure on both fighters. Why? Because for Ryan's side, whatever, I'm sure, whatever way they agree or whatever weight they agree, I'm sure they'll have a different level of agreement to making sure the fight goes down. There's going to be a different level of drug testing. You know, there's going to be a strict agreement on that fight. You know, so it's a lot of pressure for him because even though he won that night, he lost all credibility with the drug test and it being overturned. So he doesn't have credit for the win. And it's pressure for Devin Haney because he's using the PEDs and the weight as an excuse for why he lost that night. A lot of fighters feel like, or a lot of fans feel like he lost just because he just couldn't beat Ryan. He couldn't avoid the left hook. I get that angle. All right. At the end of the day, a lot of people like to go back to the Tank fight and look at how Tank avoided the left hook that Devin Haney just could not avoid that night. And I get it. You know, I'm done with the arguing. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of pressure on Haney. Because if he is to lose against Ryan, people are always going to say, well, Ryan's just better. And Ryan might just be better. You know, they fought like 7 times in the amateurs. They fought once already, you know. But I'm looking forward to it. And win or lose, I'm looking forward to whatever these guys do in the future after that. Because at the end of the day, these guys are still young. They still got a long future ahead of them if they continue boxing. And they could still continue to fight at the highest level and achieve things at the high, you know, at a high level later on. You know, losing is not the end all be all unless you just don't want to continue, or maybe you might not be the same type of fighter. And we're looking to see what both fighters can do while they're clean, while they make weight, or while coming off a brutal beatdown loss. Waiting to see what both can do. I can't wait. And I didn't say much about Jose Ramirez, but I did mention he's coming off the loss. He's really not in his prime. I don't believe he is, but it's another opportunity for him to get back in the winner's circle. And I think this is a more difficult fight than Arnold Barboza, but it's a similar type of boxer. You're gonna fight another boxer now, and you're gonna deal with a boxer that is a lot more experienced than Arnold Barboza. But if he is able to somehow pull off this win, and let's say Devin Haney is not the same, or let's just say that loss took a lot out of him, we'll see it in this fight, because this will be a good test, because Ramirez can punch and he's a pretty aggressive fighter, so I'm looking forward to both. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys say in the comments about this. Peace.